This is a major emergency alert. We are now seeing airports shut down right now. Emergency services are also being affected and shut down. We are also seeing over 2.7 million people are sitting in the dark, all right? And tomorrow it's about to be a hot day in the 90s for these 2.7 million people. All right, we also have millions of more people that are in danger right now tonight from threats and warnings too. All right, so this is a live situation, and there has been a lot of chaos and destruction that's been happening the past 24 hours. So let's dive into this really quick. Please just hit it up for me down there. It helps to get these warnings out so people know what's going on in our country. All right, but you can see here, this is the devastation that we are seeing right now in the U.S., and this is from Hurricane Beryl, right? This is one of the pictures today out of Houston. This is downtown Houston, completely flooded. Airports in Houston are completely flooded out and non-operational right now. Flights have been canceled in and out going. There's 2 airports. They both have been shut down from this, all right? We are seeing devastation in Houston right now, and reports are coming out that this isn't over. All right, tonight there are also tornado warnings in the path of Hurricane Beryl. I'll show that in just a second. And we also have almost 3 million people that are without power right now in Texas. You can see here, this is a live number. This is at almost 5 p.m. Eastern Time Monday. 2.7 million people are without power right now in Texas. That's massive. The power grid has been destroyed, and it might take a couple days for things to get back online. And the power company has not given any estimation of when the power will be back. All right, they're not saying when yet because there's so many people that it's going to take a while. All right, some people might be on in a day or two. Other people, it might take a week or two. All right, because they're going to have priority, and it's kind of random. I remember one time in a hurricane when I was younger in Florida. All right, we didn't have power for 2 weeks, but our neighbors across the street got power on after a couple days. All right, and we were keeping all of our stuff in their fridge and in their freezers to keep it fresh. All right, and sorry, right now I'm dealing with the rain currently too. All right, I'm in the outer bands kind of this hurricane, and I'm getting a lot of wind and rain and things like that. Lightning, thunder is going on right now currently. So if you're hearing that, I'll try to edit it out for you guys, but if you're hearing that, that's what it is. All right, and you can see this wind has been flipping over things like RVs and mobile homes. This is a fifth wheel. All right, looks like it's in a RV park, and it was flipped over. All right, you can see here massive flooding happening in Houston as well on the highways in and out and around Houston and Galveston. Major flooding and cars being abandoned and stranded. All right, so this devastation is also spreading. So we are going to see this right now. You can see currently this is where Tropical Storm Beryl is currently, and it's already past Houston. It's now going into Oklahoma and heading towards, or actually going into Arkansas. Sorry about that, not Oklahoma, but the outer bands are in Oklahoma. But it's heading towards Little Rock, Arkansas, and going to go near Shreveport, Louisiana. All right, and then it's going to go up into Indianapolis and Detroit and potentially cause flooding in Illinois and Indiana. All right, and we're already seeing major flooding right now. Just a few days ago, there was actually a dam failure, the Rapidan Dam in Illinois, just a few days ago, all right, causing massive flooding. So this doesn't look good for them either. And there's also multiple tornado warnings that are going on across Arkansas and this region tonight as well. We could see tornado spin-offs from supercells that develop. All right, so something to be aware of. The storm is not over, and this flooding in Houston and the winds have damaged the power grid and have flooded out the airports, flooded out critical infrastructure. All right, so it's going to take a while for these floods to recede, and some places are going to have to be pumped out. All right, here's some more pictures for you guys. This is pictures just coming out in the past 24 hours. All right, so lots of destruction in the Texas, Houston area, and especially near Galveston. And it's going to head up into Arkansas tonight, and we're going to see major power outages there too as well. All right, so this is why it's critical to have a generator and to have preps, because now the grocery store is out of power too. All right, it's not just you out of power. The grocery store is out of power. The gas station is out of power. This is something I'm thinking about right now. I should go fill up my gas tank here. I have enough gas, but I should just go top it off because this rain and this thunder and lightning, all right? And the power could go out. The power went out just a couple months ago for me here. All right, so the groceries are going to all go bad. All the refrigerated stuff, all the freezer stuff, it goes bad. This happened a few years ago. I can't remember the names. I'm forgetting it. It's right there. But there was one that hit Houston just a few years ago in Texas, and I think it was Harvey. It sounds right. Hurricane Harvey. Sounds right. And there were pictures of them throwing out hundreds of thousands of pounds of food all over the city and all over the state because it all went bad. It was all rotten. The power was out for days, and all the freezer and all of the refrigerated stuff was bad. All right, and they were showing, looks like a hotel or something there. A hotel is not actually, it's probably not a bad spot to be in for a hurricane. Actually, it's very stable, most likely, right? Unless it's really old. But it's probably a good place to be, honestly, for a hurricane. At least not near the windows. Maybe if you can block off the window, it's probably a decent place because you're probably not going to get flooded out. You're probably going to be higher up, and the building is pretty big, so it's hard to take down a building that large with just a hurricane. Maybe a tornado could cause major damage, but most of the time hotels, condos, things like that hold up relatively well, even if they're right on the shoreline. They might have the windows busted out, but you'll be safe, all right, and you won't be flooded, most likely. But something to think about, the power could be out, and you're going to have to take the stairs, right? The elevator is not going to work, and you could be 20 stories up. So something to think about too, all right? So make sure you guys are getting prepared and getting ready for this, because this could hit. These natural disasters, they can hit any area of the country right now. We're having fires. We're having explosions. We're having evacuations all throughout the country right now. And it could be your state next. Even if you're not in Texas, even if you're not in the South, it could hit you too, right? There could be, you could have an earthquake, right? You could have a major winter storm coming up in a few months. And 2.7 million people is a ton. All right, that might be close to record-breaking for Texas. Think about this. This is a major percentage of people that, what is this, like 15%? Something along those lines, just rough estimate. If there's around 14 million, it's almost 3 million. What is that, around like 15%, something along those lines, of the entire state of Texas is offline right now. All right, and these rains here, it's been thundering and lightning a ton. I'm going to edit this out for you, this noise, most of it, but it's really loud right now. And my power could go out too. All right, so if you are in this path, if you're in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Missouri, Illinois, Southern Illinois, you're going to be getting swamped tonight. Kentucky, all right, Western Tennessee, you're going to be getting a lot of rain tonight, especially when this thing crosses over the Mississippi River watershed and all those different rivers that are flooding into the Mississippi River. And you can even see here, it's saying slow internet connection for me here. All right, that's going to happen too to people. And I'm on satellite internet. So when there's rain like this, there's a lot of cloud coverage. It's blocking the dish from communicating with the satellites and sending that data back and forth, sending those packets back and forth up and down from the satellites. It blocks that. The clouds create almost a barrier and prevent it from going out. All right, so that's just something else to think about too, is that if you have satellite internet, then you're going to have major slowdowns and probably disruptions tonight as well if you're in this region. And I'm experiencing it right now while I'm recording this video. It was showing it right down there just a second ago. All right, but the entire Mississippi River watershed is going to be experiencing a ton of rain and precipitation tonight. All right, so something to be aware of. We could see flooding if you're near any creeks or rivers or creek beds, anything like that you have on your property or near your property. These things could fill up very quickly and cause flash flooding. All right, this area is kind of mountainous. All right, this is where the Ozarks are, and there's lots of hills going throughout here as well, and we could see lots of flash flooding in these lower areas. All right, so make sure you are aware, make sure you are prepared. All right, make sure you have a generator and get your gas tanks filled up. Your portable gas tanks that you can hold in your hand, your car gas tanks. I keep looking at this. I'm like, I want to get this all the way to the full. It's like bothering me now with all of this rain and lightning going on. I see lightning striking every minute or two, and it's bothering me. I'm like, I need to fill this up, because just in case, your car can be used as a generator as well. You can turn the AC on, lifesaver, because something to think about is people don't realize the next day when everything hits, or after everything hits, and it's 90 degrees, it's 100 degrees, and that's what they're anticipating in Houston right now. All right, there's also a lot of updates here. I'm just going to go through some live updates of what's going on. Out-of-state responders joined recovery efforts. Before Hurricane Beryl made landfall in Texas, helpers from across the country had already touched down in the Houston area along the Gulf Coast in anticipation of the wreckage it would leave in its wake. All right, this is something else that happens too with the electricity providers, the grid providers. They will come from out of state and be ready to repair the grid. All right, they've gotten very good at that. So they probably have people coming from Florida, Louisiana, all over the place, Georgia, all over the South, Mississippi, Alabama. They're probably all coming into Texas right now to help rebuild the grid as well. So it says Red Cross is sending 400 trained disaster workers from other states. Also, schools announced closures into Tuesday. It says, when will the power be back on? CenterPoint hasn't said. CenterPoint hasn't offered any details of when power might be back on for those who lost it after Beryl. It says the storm knocked out the lights from 2.2 million customers. Just about 85% of the company's Bayou City service area. All right, and they're also saying Houston airport's non-operational and widespread road closures. All right, so there's 2 airports in Houston, and they are shut down right now from this flooding. Here's another one. Are you the owner of this rescued dog? Apparently someone found it, hit it up down there to help get this warning out. Save little Fido, save this little guy. They got a blanket on him. He looks he looks upset. He looks sweet though, but he looks upset. He doesn't look happy. So help find this guy. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, Harris County, is trying to find him, and he was hit by a truck. So spread the word for little Lou. I'm gonna call him little Lou. All right, I guess he's from Houston, so I'm gonna call him Lou, or little Hugh. How about that? We'll call him little Hugh. That'll be his nickname. Spread the word for him. All right, he was hit, and hopefully they can get some help for him. There's also a gas leak in Conroe neighborhood. Also, most of the restaurants are closed because they don't have power. All right, just like I was saying, the restaurants are closed, the grocery stores are closed, gas stations are closed. Everything you normally depend on is closed when the power is off. That's why it's critical to have some kind of solar, even if it's small. All right, there's little solar blocks for your phone that are this big that can charge your phone. All right, I've had one for years. It takes a long time, but they can do it. So just have something like that, and also I have little solar panels and things like that. I don't have a big system, but little portable things like that, of course. And there's also battery blocks for your phone. All right, so big charger blocks that you can charge your phone 3 or 4 times with. Look into that. There's a bunch of different brands. I have a few different kinds. All right, I'm not going to endorse any of them because they're all about the same. All right, but look into those too. Those big battery blocks for your phone. You can charge. They have them for your computer as well. I have 2 of those for camping. All right, whenever we are really camping far out and we don't even have the generator or anything like that, then that's when I bring those and use those. All right, so power's out, nothing's going to be happening. That's why you got to have your own food. Even your stove's not going to work, microwave's not going to work. That's why wood stoves are critical, and also propane stoves and grills are critical as well. And whoa, did you guys see that? All right, wow. Did you guys see that? All right. Dear God, please protect me. Thank you for your protection. I'm not joking. I'm praying right now. Cause that was insane. I'm just gonna leave that in there. I literally smell I smell something now. Like something's burning now. All right, guys. I might have to head inside. I think that's my sign to wrap it up. All right, I'm going to end the video right there. Please hit it up for me down there, guys, to help get these warnings out. I appreciate that. I hope you guys have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.